all, Marco Picota here, Chief Designer at Raybox Games. Taking a walk to get to the office here in Sevilla where I live. Let's go inside. I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown, an overview of the Cats of New Orleans and give you guys an idea how the game plays and some of the rules so that you guys got a good idea of what's going on. I hope you check it out. Thanks. So let's take a quick look overview of how the rules work in this game. First of all, it's a narrative campaign. You play scenarios, 20 plus scenarios, to complete the whole storyline. All of them will tell you where to go after you've completed it, and some of them have choices, so it's kind of a choose your own adventure aspect in that way. The rules are laid out so you will learn the rules over the first 3 scenarios. So you don't have to read all the rules at once. And the basic concept is, here's your rule book. On the right side is going to be your map, and on the left side, for the most part, is the instructions to the game. Then you have your character sheets. You can play with 2, 3, or 4. I'm putting it down 2 for now. And the character sheet allows you to track the health of your character. It tells you stats for their attacking with their natural claws and stuff, as well as their weakness, and gives space for the stuff that you're going to find and loot along the way. Equipment, of course, weapons, cool stuff, clues, and all kinds of stuff like that. And that you kind of keep as a record here. On the back of these, there are backgrounds that you can read and has information about who they are. Scenarios takes a minute to set up. Anywhere you have an objective, an O, there are none in this particular scenario, you would put one of these markers. They're blue on one side and red on the other, depending on, sometimes you'll want one or the other, or sometimes you'll flip them. The other thing that you're going to have is loot squares, like here. And there, these little loot markers, you'll put 2 of them. They can be recovered, and when you recover them, you will go into the loot deck and you will draw a card and get all kinds of cool stuff. You might find a trap, bucks, ammunition, all kinds of things that's going to help you on your journey. I'm using the miniatures here because I happen to have them. You'll put your cats on or adjacent to the sea, so you'll do that. Here's my 2 guys, Minu and Murray here. That's Murray. Right, you'll read up, it'll give you some background, you'll see what forces, in other words, what creatures you're going to be up against. In this case, it's 4 mosquitoes, 1, 2, 3, 4. You would invert them, mix them up, and place them on the V's. We know that they're all mosquitoes, so it doesn't matter, but often, almost every other scenario, it's a mixture, so you're not going to necessarily know when they're revealed what you're getting. The other ones will stay here in the little pool. And when they spawn, as you go along on the track, there's a round track where you get an S, you will spawn more. When it got to here, you would put an S. We'll put one here, and you put one here. And this varies from scenario to scenario, so you have all kinds of different variations. Basic movement, your characters and the vermin have action points, and you use action points to move and attack and do searches and investigations and stuff like that. So basically to do stuff. These guys will have 3 action points. And for example, with 1 action point, you can decide to prowl, which means move 1 square. That's not something you'd normally do, but you have to do it if you're adjacent to an enemy. It forces you to be cautious. You can stride, which allows you to move 3 squares. So 1, 2, 3, for example. Or you can pounce, which allows you to do 6, and you can basically leap over stuff, just like cats would do, land where you want to land, and you get a free attack at something that's adjacent to you. But you will also be considered vulnerable, and I don't know where my vulnerable counter went. Here it is, which means it's easier to be attacked until you recover from vulnerability the next turn. The vermin have 1 action point as well, and they can move 1 square with 1 action point. And that is what you would learn in the first scenario. Your objective is to exit off the map from that arrow, and then it would tell you at the bottom what to do next. So play scenario number 2, fighting in the streets. So you would turn to scenario 2. And that's this one here. Put your round track marker on the first round. And then you will do the same thing. You'll look at the forces. In this case, it's 8 bloodsuckers, 2 pistoliers, which are these guys here. So you have standees available as well as the markers. You can choose to use one or the other. Right now, I'm just going to use markers because it's easier. Of course, there's plastic bases for those. And here you go. So you would have 8 of these guys, of which I have 6 here. But you would basically take them, flip them over, mix them up, and then you put them on the V's. 1, 2. 1 pistolier, absolutely you know goes there. So you put it there, and another pistolier. In this case, it tells you where to put them because it's a P, and it tells you here in the instructions as well. You put it on where you were instructed. You put it on the V's. You'll put your loots here on the L's. 1, 2. And you would also put 2 down here. And you would take your cats and put them on or adjacent to C. That's your setup. Basically good to go. So it's really quick. It's actually 1, 2, 3 loot things. So I haven't punched out all the counters, but you get the picture. In this case, we'll talk a little bit about attacking. You can either attack at a range, and your weapons will have a range, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So obviously knives and stuff like that are just range 1. That means you can attack someone 1 square away. Anything that's got a range of 2 or 3 or more will allow you to attack further. You just count the squares and you don't count diagonals. You move sideways when you need to count. So how far is the range to this pistolier? Is 1, 2, 3. What we've done is we've created the cards to give you their information and the stuff that they can do. On the back, it has more powers they may or may not have. All the information you have is here. So for example, he has a pistol and it has a range of 4. It has a 7+, he has to draw. So we're not using dice. We actually have a little deck of poker cards. On a 7+, he draws, he inflicts a stun, and on a 10+, he inflicts a wound. If you stun something, basically it uses up their actions and makes them lose action points or lose their turn altogether. So if he's here, for example, his range to Murray is 1, 2, 3. So he's within range, so he can attack, right? And then you draw a card. I haven't mixed these, so I'll just draw from the center. And you got a queen. A queen equals a 12, right? Go 1 to 10, and then jack's 11, queen 12. Kings are 13, but you don't get the kings in. You'll have taken them out of here. Those only come later special if you want, if you find or buy something cool, making your chances better, of course, but that's later on. So you'll draw from the deck, and that'll give you certain things and certain abilities and stuff that will rely on the suit that is on it. So whether it's a heart or a diamond, those can have different effects. And it allows for a large amount of versatility because of that. If you inflicted a stun, you would put a stun marker beside him, and he'd have the next turn when he activates, he'd have to expend an action point to get rid of that stun. So it would make him slower, do less things. There's lots of little details and different special rules for different creatures, but we won't go through them all now. They're self-evident. They're on the cards. So you would go ahead, and your objective in this particular is defeat the pistoliers, of which there are 2, and then you have to exit the map. In this one here, we're starting to teach you basic combat rules. It's not extremely difficult. It's about learning at this point. You still have challenges, and you still got to survive, and you still got to make sure you don't take any wounds or lives. You got 9 of them, but they can go fast. The big thing with knives, if when something does a wound, so he hit on that, for example, and we know that it does 1 wound. If this is a dark card, in which case it is a black, it does 2 wounds. And if it's a red card, it does 1. So if he hit Murray, he would actually have inflicted 2 wounds on him. So he went from 9 lives to 7. If you want to play in easy mode, you would always do 1. But the normal mode is just 1 or 2. This basically covers all the basic rules that you need to play. In scenario 3, you start learning about being able to buy skills. So there's skills that you can get to improve yourself. All of the heroes have different skills, 9 different skills that they can choose from level 1, 2, and 3. And if you decide to bring them in the battle, you would set them here. As you saw, we went from scenario 1 to scenario 2. This one tells you to go to scenario 3. Again, at the beginning, it's a linear, but you'll start having choices. We'll just wipe this clean. As you can see how fast it takes to set up and how little space it really takes. You can play co-op with your buddies, with your friends, or you can just play solo, which is what I do mostly. But there's scenario 3, this is scenario 4, this is scenario 5. There's over 20, there's 20 odd scenarios. And see here, that might be worth checking out straight away, So you can play scenario 8, clear the way next, or you can play scenario 6, whiskey and wisdom next. So you'll have choices like that. It will change how things end up coming out, or what options you'll have, or what you'll find, characters you might meet, and all that kind of thing. Between the scenarios, you visit the riverboat notches, and there you can heal up, you can buy stuff, you go to the market. You can also learn skills. That's where you're going to get your skills. You spend your bucks. You can do games of chance. And there's also a random draw, an event card draw. And from here, there's 15 event cards. Some event cards are just like flavor text and more story, and other ones actually have stuff that happens that you have to address. So you will always draw that when you go to the riverboat. Some are good, some are bad, some are just challenging. Anyways, that's the basic overview. I didn't cover every single aspect of the game, but this is going to give you an idea of how it functions. We have the rulebook you can download. I'll put that link below. Also, we are on Tabletop Simulator, so you can actually play the first 3 scenarios or so with Tabletop Simulator. It's on there. So there's lots of ways to find out more about the game. Lots of ways for you to try it out, see if you like it, see if it's cool. We'll have other videos coming up throughout the campaign. I hope you guys back the campaign. Check it out. I hope you love it. I hope you love the art. I hope you love the miniatures, the concept.
and everything. And, we're really looking forward to bring it to you. There's lots going on. If you have any questions, post them. I'd be glad to hear it and help you out. Thanks so much. I appreciate it, and have a great day.